Hey, welcome everybody back to the Ox Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Big Book, aka Ox. And do me a favor, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you're not subscribed yet. It'll let you know anytime I drop any new content. All right, let's get started. The Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks played one of the most explosive offensive games yet this year in the NFL. Defense, non-existent. And I feel some sort of way about that because that is like a staple of how the Detroit Lions play. Run game, defense, kind of non-existent. But like I said before, when I talked about Seattle on the last video, man, they had beat us 6 straight times. The last 2 times we played them, Geno just completely went off. He went off again Monday night. But it was a great game to watch. It was a great game. It had big plays. It had crucial moments. It had crucial turnovers. It had questionable calls. An exciting game. And I'm just thankful that my team came out on the right side of it. You take a win any way you get it. But I don't know what it is with Seattle. Detroit just has so much problems. I don't understand it. Geno always comes in there looking like he's, you know what I'm saying, Joe Montana, Tom Brady. And he played another great game. He really did. Defense, it was more like the turnovers really stretched that game out, really made a difference because it really wasn't we were stopping Geno. You know, any big third down they needed, it was like they were getting it. You know, I didn't understand some of the defensive coverages on these third downs. It was like we were still bringing heat instead of kind of playing back by the sticks, maybe seeing if that strategy would have worked. We didn't do that. It didn't cost us as far as, you know, the end game result. But during that game, man, Geno had it going. And he looked great. I think he is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. And he has, to me, really turned his career around. So, you know, salute Geno. He is, you know, if somebody told me he was in their 8 to 12 range as a quarterback, I couldn't disagree with you. I couldn't. But right quick, let's recap some of the stats. You know, I'm talking about Geno, but my man, Jared Goff, perfect. 18 for 18. He was the issue when we lost to Tampa Bay, but he turned that around. He was the reason why we won Monday night. But okay, let's get to some of these stats right quick, just real quick. Geno Smith was 38 for 56 for 395 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Kenneth Walker, that was his first game back. He had been hurt, and he had a very good game. 12 carries, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. Fantasy owners, whoever had him, man, I know y'all was delighted. I mean, he gave you a great night. He really did, especially with all the passing they were doing. DK Metcalf didn't get in the end zone, messed up my parlay. But, you know, like I said, I was happy we came out with the win. DK, 7 receptions for 104 yards. Tyler Lockett, 5 for 61 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigma, 8 for 51 yards. And then, you know, it kind of goes down from there. The Detroit Lions, let me see. We all know. Jared Goff, perfect. 18 for 18 for 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The ground game, it wasn't overbearing, but it was enough to allow Jared Goff to do what he needed to do off the play action. And that's what we need when the running game ain't it's not hitting like it normally does. We just need enough because Jared Goff is a good enough passer to be effective. Like I said in the previous videos, when he's around that 20 to 33 range, he is very effective. It's something about when he gets, 35 and up, when he's in that 35, 40, 45 passing attempts, it doesn't bode well for him. I don't know why. But he had one of the greatest games I've watched a quarterback have. Even Amon-Ra St. Brown was 1 for 1, throwing a touchdown pass, and Jared Goff, on top of being perfect, catching a touchdown pass. I mean, it was a really great game last night. Jahmyr Gibbs, 14 carries for 78 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery, 12 for 40 yards with 1 touchdown. And he had one of the most exciting runs. Kenneth had a couple too, but the one that David Montgomery had, he completely flattened the defender. I mean, he turned around with the ball. The defender was right there. He just lowered his head, and he just basically leveled him. He was parallel in the air after he hit him. And then he broke a couple more tackles. Big run. It was a great run. It was a great play. Jameson Williams had 2 receptions for 80 yards and a touchdown. Sam Laporta, 4 for 53. Tim Patrick got in the mix, 2 for 52 yards. Big catches. St. Brown, 6 for 45. He had a touchdown reception and a touchdown throw. David Montgomery, 1 for 40. That was the one I was talking about, where he flattened the defender, broke a couple tackles, 40 yards. Brock Wright, 2 for 13, and that's where we're at with that. Really, the first downs, like when you look at the statistics, Seattle dominated the statistics. But that's because Detroit had so many explosive plays. They had some quick scores. And when you look at the statistics, it's deceiving. If you look at the first downs, Seattle had 38, Detroit 21. Total plays. Seattle had 78 total plays. Detroit had 50. Seattle had almost 30 more plays than their opponent. And they lost. That hardly ever happens in the NFL. And you know what hardly else ever happens in the NFL? The Detroit Lions scoring 42 points off of 50 plays. They almost had more points than they had total plays. That is also crazy. Some of these statistics, man, Seattle had 516 yards of total offense. 516. Detroit didn't even have 400. They had 389. But like I said, there were some turnovers that helped during the game, gave Detroit a short field, allow them to get up a score or two, and that helped with the game. They both had 11 drives. Yards per play, Seattle 6.6, Detroit almost 8. So everything else, another big thing was the turnover. Seattle did have 2. Detroit didn't have any penalties. Man, you know what? Some of these penalties that these refs are calling in these games, I don't see it. I really don't see it. You got to let some of these guys play. And I'm not just talking about the penalties against Detroit. I'm also talking about the penalties against Seattle. We're not here to watch you guys throw laundry all over the field. Man, if it's a little ticky-tack call, man, let it go. Leave it alone. These guys got to play. They got to play through that. I don't like a play, a first down, a score being decided because you guys wanted to make a judgmental play when you could have just basically let the guys just decide it on the field. So a statistic that was very important last night also was the red zone. When Detroit lost to Tampa Bay, I believe they were 1 for 7 in the red zone. Last night they were 5 for 5. Detroit has been a very good red zone team over these last couple years. They were horrible against Tampa Bay. As close as that game was, they were horrible. That's why coming out of that game, I really wasn't that concerned because Detroit dominated the stats and they just broke down in the red zone for some reason. I did not like the play calling that was going on. And then also, Jared Goff just played terrible in that game. He played absolutely horrendous. So, I wasn't too concerned. And then they went out to Arizona, won the game defensively. And this game defensively, it just seemed like that they weren't going to stop Seattle at all. And when you look at the stats I just read, that they didn't. But turnovers help even up things. We won. We end up winning the game. Seattle in the red zone, they were 3 for 4. So they were very effective in the red zone also. So that was, that's the statistics of the game. And like I said, when you look at the statistics of the game, you would really think that, Seattle won the game. Now, I know, Seattle had, I believe, 4 of their front 7 did not play. And that makes a difference. But Detroit also had some people out. They had 2 of the safeties out, 1 starter with Brian Branch, and then they had their all-pro center, Frank Ragnow. He did not play in that game. So, football is more than any other sport is a next man up mentality. That's what it is. So it's next man up. It's next man up. As far as the Lions are concerned, it was a great offensive showing. And I had said in the previous video, that's what we were waiting on because this offense is explosive. To me, it is the best complete offense in the NFL. Complete offense, it is the Detroit Lions. When you wanted to just talk about just running, you can throw some other teams up there with Detroit. Baltimore, you can throw them up there with Detroit. San Francisco, they like to run the rock. You can throw them up there. When Nick Chubb is healthy, Cleveland, puts up a good amount of rushing yards. But when you throw that passing mechanism in there, that's when they jump ahead of Baltimore. That's when they jump ahead of San Francisco. That's when they jump ahead of Cleveland. Detroit has weapons everywhere. Everywhere. You have to play them straight up. And when you don't, when you put too many in the box, you see what Jared Goff can do. And we got players that can hit you over the top. Jameson Williams, who can control the middle, and St. Brown and Laporta. And we got backs that can come out the backfield and make catches and do what they do. This is an offense that really can't be stopped. When Detroit is playing this way, when Detroit on offense is playing their A game, there's no team that can beat them. Because they will do enough defensively to win that game. They are just too talented on offense, and they can beat you running the ball. They can beat you passing the ball. Overall, to me, the best team in the league. And I'm not just saying this because that's my team. I'm saying it because you can just see, your eyes tell you that. The stats tell you that. They may not say Detroit is number one, but they're in that top 3, 4, 5 in these categories. What other team can you say that about? And then there are games that our defense steps up and they shut down another team's offense. It just so happens it wasn't Monday night. But that is Detroit against Seattle. I don't understand why Seattle gives us so many problems, but they do. They do. And Geno, the last couple years I haven't wanted to give him the respect I think he deserves now, because I wanted to see a resume of it. I wanted to see a long list of him being consistent. Man, Geno is a good quarterback. Geno is a good quarterback. His placement with the ball, it wasn't like he wasn't being pressured. He was being pressured. Hutchinson didn't get to him, but he pressured him 10 times. He was being pressured. When it was time for that ball to come out, it came out. When it was time for him to step up in that pocket or make somebody miss or by himself sometimes so he can make a play, that's what he did. That's what he did. I think he's underrated. I think Jared Goff is underrated. I really do. I think Jared Goff is underrated. If you ranked your top 5 quarterbacks right now, he's got to be in that 4 or 5 area. Joe Burrow wouldn't be there. Definitely wouldn't be there. But it seems like nobody would want to say that Jared Goff is better than Joe Burrow right now. He is. He is. Now, Joe has had a tendency to start very slow at the beginning of Cincinnati's seasons. I don't understand why that constantly happens. I understand that, there were some injury issues, but it's like every year. Every year. And when you do that, you give away games, which are important in the NFL. I don't want that. Jared Goff is he's very consistent. When you keep him in that area, that 20 to 32, those throws, and he's got a running game where he can play action off of, Jared Goff he's a very, very good quarterback. In that top 6, 7 area. So it was great. It was great to finally see that offense do what they do. And you saw all versions of it. Offensively, you saw all versions of it. We've got the best duo in the backfield. Hands down, we have the best duo in the backfield. Montgomery and Gibbs. Who's better? Who is better? When you say who's got the best back, it's not us. But combination-wise, what these guys give you, the best duo. And let's be real. Since Jamison Williams has came on like he has, how many teams have a better duo? 1-2 wide receiver punch. Amaron and Jamison Williams. How many? I would say that pair's top 5. And then when you throw in their tight end, when you say, okay, who's got the best 1-2 receiver duo and tight end? I mean, it's not Kansas City. Is it San Francisco? Maybe. Could be. I don't think Kittle is better than Laporta. I don't think so. Now, I don't think so. But if somebody wanted to say Kittle was, okay. Can't argue with it, Who else? TJ Hawkinson from Minnesota is cool. And, of course, they got Justin Jefferson. But, they're missing that, consistent production-wise. Not just name, but production also. I'm telling you, man, Detroit has it everywhere offensively. Defense, we need some help. Defensively, we need some help. It'd be nice to get somebody on the opposite side of Hutch, man. It really would. Because as much of a terror as he is right now, it really would be a problem if he had somebody on the other side that could get to the quarterback. Really would. So I hope I hope the Lions look at that, because to me that's a weakness. I hope they fix that. And I think Terry and Arnold had a lot of penalties called on him. He's a rookie. He's got to get his techniques down to where he's able to do certain things, because like they said it on the broadcast, when he gets beat a little bit, he tends to get a little handsy, and you can't do that. You know, he's got to find a way to be able to play the man without getting flagged. I believe that will come. More reps. That will come. I believe the secondary will get a lot better. And remember, Branch did not play. He makes a heck of a difference. I mean, Branch, he was leading the Lions in tackles. And as far as passes defended, I believe he was the leader in the NFL in passes defended. So, you know, that was an issue, you know. But like I said, Geno just did an extraordinary job finding the open man, and the receivers did a great job of either beating man or sitting somewhere in that zone. And they just moved the ball up and down the field. Up and down the field. I didn't think Detroit was ever going to make them punt, you know. So, but it's a great win. It's a great win. We got a bye week coming up, and we got those Dallas Cowboys next. And I'm going to tell you what. They don't fix that run defense, it's going to be a problem in the Big D also. There's going to be a problem in the Big D also. We're going to see if them Cowboys can stump with the big dogs. Because we owe y'all from last year. We owe y'all. You know what I'm saying? I work with Cowboy fans, and they know they got beat. They know they got beat. They know we got cheated last year. Trying to say that Skipper didn't report, when you clearly saw he did. Clearly saw. So we're going to come into Dallas ready and prepared. And you know what I'm saying? We got some get back. We're going to give them some get back. You know. But like I said, it was a great game. It was a great game. Great offensive showing by both teams. Defense, but, you know, it's not bad to watch a game like that sometimes. And this is the NFL. When teams get hot, when quarterbacks get hot, it is hard to stop, you know, where they put the ball. And that's what they're paid to do. That is what they're paid to do. But look here, I'm going to go ahead and get off. I appreciate you guys joining me. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I drop any new content. Until next time, you guys have a great day, have a great night, and God bless.